What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for August 21st, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy hump day to everyone out there. I don't even know where to begin. There's really just not much to talk about because not much happened. Zack Wheeler was outstanding. He came in and pitched like an ace. Did exactly what he needed to do, what we expected him to do. And then offensively, your top three, 0 for 12, 7 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper. 6-game lead now, and I don't really know what to talk about. I mean, they left guys on base. They had their opportunities and couldn't get it done. But when your 3 stars, your 3 leaders go 0 for 12, you're not going to beat anybody. So once again, we are down the first game of the series, making things harder. What makes it worse is the Braves are the team you're in direct competition with for the division. It's down to 6 games. Now, if they can win the next 2, no harm, no foul, but I just wish they could not make it more difficult on themselves. It's frustrating, and biggest 13-game of the stretch, 13-game stretch of the season, I should say. Bryce Harper had that full day off on Sunday, and that is how he comes out with 3 of the 12 strikeouts. It just blows my mind, and it's as much as I try to stick up for this team, as much as I try to believe, it's just I think, and maybe this is just me being down today because of the freight train here in the room with me, but I think we all know how this is going to end. I mean, if convince me otherwise, but I think we all know how this is going to end, and just add it to the long list of Philly sports teams' failures. Hopefully, Aaron Nola can come out today and pitch like he did the other day. I don't have much hope. Max Fried is on the mound for the Braves. Maybe they turn it around today, and I feel I'm having a different vibe tomorrow, but I got to be honest, I'm not feeling good about this team right now, especially when your top 3 guys go like that, and knowing that, 1, Bryce had the day off. 2, the Braves are coming out fired up. They know this is do or die for them, especially with the Mets playing the way they have been, and that's sort of how you show up. I feel, yes, the bedlam at the bank and all that, all the good vibes, the big home runs, but I think a lot of that good sort of equity that Bryce has built up, he's starting to dip into it a little bit here. You're the MVP, the star, the face of the team. You need to show up better than 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in quite possibly the start of the biggest run of the season, biggest series of the season to this point. You've not been able to beat the Braves in the regular season. You could have started to put the nail in the coffin and put them on their heels coming into today. Now we're playing catch up. So I really think some of that goodwill, equity, or whatever you want to call it, he's starting to dip into that now. Again, maybe I'm singing a different tune tomorrow, just kind of down about it. I was disappointed. Went out, was ready to watch it. It was on TBS, so I was able to get it out here, and that is the performance that they put up. Want to leave your thoughts and comments? Hit me up on social media, Twitter and TikTok at Jimbo_Mont, Instagram at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Continue to spread the word. We're approaching the 2-year anniversary. Looking forward to it. I want to do something. I'm not sure what yet, so stay tuned for that. Again, the best way to be in the loop is to subscribe. You can always call or text the Back to the Future voice and text line as well, 267-495-8531. That will get you in. Lots to vent about today. But you know who you don't have to vent about? Philly Goat. Go start getting your back-to-school shopping done. They got everything you need for your kids. There was a little bit of a chill in the air back home. It was downright cold up here this morning. But get your back to school shopping done. They got hoodies, t-shirts, hats, stickers for water bottles, everything you need to get your back to school shopping done. 10% off your order by using the promo code Jim Montgomery at checkout. You won't be disappointed, and hopefully I will see some of you on Sunday at the watch party they are sponsoring with John Kruk down at the Palladium in South Philly. And then feel like wallowing in your sorrow a little bit more, go check out my boys over at the Clash and Conferences podcast. I'm sure there's a lot of trash talk. I've not listened to the new episode yet, but lots of trash talk on the Phillies. So sometimes that's the best therapy. But go check them out. They're doing great things. And the OG crew for football is set to come back next week. That's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. Disappointing end to the Little League World Series run for Council Rock Newtown. They lost 3-1 against Hawaii. Hawaii's pitcher was outstanding, though. I mean, so no shame in that. It was a fun ride. Hold your heads up high, guys. Like, that was just an incredible run. We were all into it for the past few weeks. So congratulations on a great season. You guys are all stars in our opinion, and you played well. You got to play 4 games in the Little League World Series. So pretty cool stuff, but that pitcher from Hawaii was just outstanding. But congratulations to the Council Rock Newtown Little League team on a great run as they get prepared to go back to school. All right, I wanted to touch on this, and it's going to lose some of its bite because of the way the game played out yesterday. But there was a lot of talk on social media, the radio stations I saw yesterday that asking if the Phillies Braves is a bigger rivalry than the Eagles Cowboys. And it's hard for me to really have an unbiased opinion on this because my bigger rival for the Eagles is the Giants. Yes, I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys, but to me, the rivalry is not only on the field, it's the fans as well. So, like, to me, the rivalry with the Cowboys, I've met plenty of Dallas fans from Dallas. They're fine. They're actually nice people. It's the Dallas fans in Philly that I think really have the edge and add to this, where for me, the Giants, because of the proximity and the fact that there's so many people from New York that live in the area that are from Giants, or people that live further up north, like Scranton area, that's sort of like a borderline cutoff. I think the Giants are the bigger rival for the Cowboys. So for me, to answer the original question, yes, the Phillies Braves right now is the biggest rivalry to me because of just the recent history of it, and they're the team we're trying to take down. The fact they dominated us in the regular season, and then they've never beaten us in a playoff series. I feel that right now this is the bigger rivalry. And last year, both Eagles-Cowboys games did not have a lot of hype around them. There was not a lot of juice as there usually is for them. And I think because people are kind of just like, whatever. Like, you know what the Cowboys are going to do. The Eagles and Cowboys are going to split. They're division rivals. Cowboys are going to talk all their trash. They're going to fold down the stretch, not do anything in the playoffs. And ultimately, minus maybe last year, even though I think both teams made it to the same round, that's what they do. The Eagles end up having more successful seasons despite the fact they split it. So I think there's a lot of luster lost on that rivalry. And I know it's funny saying that about the Giants because the Giants suck. But to me, the Giants are the bigger rival of the Eagles. And yes, I would put the Phillies Braves right now over Eagles Cowboys because there were, for a time, I mentioned it yesterday, it was the Phillies Mets. And because of just the domination that Atlanta has been on, it's turned into that rivalry with the Braves. So, like, even the Braves have taken over the Mets as the bigger rival for baseball. So I think the biggest rival from a competitive standpoint is the Braves. I would even go as far as saying the biggest rival from like a hatred standpoint would be the Celtics. I think the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry, yeah, you have that, the historic part. But, I mean, the TV execs in the NFL see it. Neither one of those games are on primetime this year. You were always good for one Eagles-Cowboys game on primetime. So the fact that it's not happening, I think that tells you that, yes, it is the Phillies-Braves is the biggest rivalry right now in Philly sports. But what do you think? 267-495-8531. That's a Back to the Future voice and text line. I'm sure a lot of you are going to think I'm crazy and ready to drive off the road right now or reach through your computer screen and punch me. But I'm not feeling the same level of hate as I have been for the Cowboys. It's just, and part of it is because it's like they're a laughable organization. You almost like feel bad. And to give another analogy, I guess, I'm here in Penn State. As a Temple guy, we hated Penn State. We were like, always look forward to that game. They always beat us. And when we finally beat them back, I think it was like 2015, when we finally beat them, it was like a huge deal for us, but for them, it was just like, okay, it was. So, like, I think there's something to be said about the state of where both teams are. So the fact that the Phillies and the Braves are battling for the division, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt and I don't know what I'm talking about, but let me know. 267-495-8531. That'll get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Phillies, Braves, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Who do you got? All right, Union in action tonight, looking for a spot in the League's Cup the League's Cup final, and if they win, they will also get a berth in next year's CONCACAF Champions Cup. I don't know. They're out in Columbus. They're playing hot. I think the team, I was reading an article the other day, it looks as though there's going to be some big changes with the team after this season. So kind of like a last hurrah. This team still is looking to bring home a trophy after the disappointing 2022 MLS Cup final. So who knows? Maybe they can get a little magic and go on a run and win the League's Cup here. Got to get through Columbus first, and that is tonight out in Columbus. They are guaranteed another game. It will be, if they happen to lose, they will play in the third place game and still have a chance for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But we'll update that for you tomorrow. Okay, today we're going to go back to 1990. And on this day, hopefully this is going to bring the Phillies some good luck tonight. But the Phillies beat the Dodgers 12-11 out in Dodger Stadium. They fell behind 11-1 after the Dodgers scored 8 runs in the 5th inning. And it looked like, typical of the time, Phillies were just going to pack it in, heading toward their 63rd loss of the season. Scored 2 runs in the 8th. Okay, that happens. And then the 9th inning happened, and they erupted. 14 guys were sent to the plate. John Kruk hit a 3-run homer. Dale Murphy with a 2-run double. All totaled, 9 runs, 6 hits, 2 Dodgers errors, 14 batters sent to the plate. Phillies come back, win the game 12-11. Quote after the game, I was reading through the newspaper from the day after yesterday, and Kruk, being Kruk even back then, said, well, all I was thinking about was getting back to the hotel before midnight because that's when room service stops. And then all of a sudden we started hitting, so he was like, if we're going to hit, we might as well go win the game. It was the most runs since 1918 that the Phillies had scored in the 9th inning. Another little side story there. There's a brawl the day before involving Lenny Dykstra and a couple of the guys with the Dodgers. Dykstra went 2 for 3 at the plate, raised his average to 344, which at the time, on August 21st, led the National League. He ended up hitting 325 that year and finished 4th in the National League. But I completely forgot that he was at one point in the season, like in July, was flirting with hitting 400. And there was talks of him winning the batting title. So good time, or good night, good time for the Phils. But on this day, they erupted for 9 runs in the 9th inning in a 1990 game against the Dodgers. John Kruk with a 3-run home run. He figured, I can't get room service. We might as well go win the game in true Krucker fashion. All right. Finally today, our 20 questions in 20 days about the Eagles. We'll start with a recap of yesterday's question. I asked you, is the secondary going to be a strength for this team? 61% of you agree with me that, yes, this is going to be the strength for this team. And I really do. I think it turned into a negative and how he turned it into a positive. And I still would not be surprised if somehow we use what we have here to parlay it into a third receiver, a backup offensive line, or something. Especially with Sidney Brown sort of sitting out there. And it still looks like they're probably going to keep him on the PUP list until after the final cuts. That way they buy themselves 4 weeks, keep an extra roster spot, and are able to kind of see how things shake out before they activate him. But today we're going to look at the linebackers, and who's going to start is the big question on everyone's mind. So they are throwing Vic Fangio is doing the 3-4 defense. So what we know is Devin White is going to be your starter. He's had a solid but not really an impressive camp, I guess. But from a leadership perspective and the fact that you're not hearing about him getting beat or burnt, I think is a good thing. And then you got Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat kind of on that hybrid outside role where they're going to rush the passer some, have to play a little bit of run defense. I think those two are solidified as your starters. But the other linebacker spot is still up for grabs. It seems as though right now Zack Baun is penciled in as the starter. 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yep, the linebacker is set. That's Baun and Devin White are going to be your starters. But Nakobe Dean has been on a tear and really kind of coming into his own. And I think he has a legitimate shot to start. And if he's not on the field as the starter on the first play, he's going to get a ton of playing time. And I think he needs to prove something. This is his third year. I think from a financial standpoint, the Eagles would like to see him sort of pan out. They have him. He's on year 3 of a 4-year deal, where Zack Baun is just here on a 1-year deal. So I think from a contract situation, they would love to see Nakobe Dean sort of pan out. But I think he has a legitimate shot to start. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. should get some playing time, which is huge for a rookie. And then on the other backups for the outside, kind of like I guess you could call it the D ends, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Brandon Graham, they should all get playing time. I know the Eagles like to do the rotation. So I think this is going to be a key. That pass rush is going to be key to this team. Obviously, you got Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter kind of clogging up the middle. But it's going to be these outside guys, the Bryce Huffs, the Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. If we can get anything remotely like the old BG out of him, Nolan Smith has, like, these guys all have things to prove, and it's going to come down to them. But I think with solid linebacking play, it should help. Like I said, I like Devin White there. Zack Baun has played okay, I guess, in camp. But like I said, Nakobe Dean, like, it's almost like he has a chip on his shoulder. So I would not be surprised if somehow he ends up being your starter. But what do you think? Who's going to start at the other linebacker spot? Should it be Zack Baun? Excuse me. Should it be Nakobe Dean? Let me know on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off your chest? Want to vent about the dismal display that your leader Bryce Harper put out yesterday? It's all fair game, and I think he deserves all the criticism that he can get. But tell me who should start at linebacker for the Eagles. Should it be Zack Baun? Should it be Nakobe Dean? I think I'm in camp Dean. I think either way, both guys are going to get some playing time. So let me know. But that has been our 20 questions for 20 days for day 10, the linebacker spot. Who's going to start? Nakobe Dean, Zack Baun. Let me know what you think. On this day in 1990, Phils came back with 9 runs in the 9th to beat the Dodgers 12-11. Hopefully they don't need that magic tonight. Hopefully they can just score 9 runs and get a big lead on the Braves. John Kruk hit the home run because he figured he couldn't order his pizza from room service. So why not go out and win the game in true Krucker fashion? Good luck to the Union tonight as they look to get to the finals of the Leagues Cup. Shout out to the Council Rock Newtown Little League team. Also, give me your thoughts on the whole rivalry conversation. I think it's an interesting one. I think we can have the debate. But I think if you want to talk about in TV terms, jumping the shark, I think I might have to say that the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry has jumped the shark. And there's your hot take on a Wednesday. But let me know what you're thinking. Hopefully the Phils can get it together. We need some playoff NOLA tonight, not what we've been getting recently from NOLA. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for August 21st, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery. I will be back from the Orland office tomorrow morning. Go have yourself some Wednesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.